Welcome to Tell Me More on this third Easter. Year A. This week's lectionary gospel reading is from Luke, and it's about the story of the two disciples on the road to Emmaus. And as they're walking along this road, this 7-mile stretch that they're walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus, they encounter a stranger. And as they're walking along, the stranger just asks, "What are y'all talking about?" And they stop, and in amazement they say, "Are you the only stranger in this area that doesn't know what's happened these past few days? The great teacher, our teacher, Jesus, was killed," and they're just amazed that this stranger doesn't understand or know what's going on. And of course, as the story goes on, and they walk on. It's revealed to them later as Jesus is sitting at a table with them, as the stranger is sitting at the table with them and blesses the bread and breaks it, that it is actually Jesus that has been walking with them. And their response to it weren't our hearts burning when we were talking, when he was opening up the scriptures to us? Could we not know that this was our Lord, our risen Lord? And all of these emotions come flooding back. And this story for Luke is a transitional story. It transitions between what happened with the women who go down early in the morning to the tomb. It happens the same day. They go down to the tomb and find early in the morning that Jesus is not there. The tomb is open, that Jesus is not there. And they run back to the disciples, who are, of course, locked in a room. And the disciples just put it off as idle tale, except for Peter, who runs back to the tomb and finds it just as the women had said. And it transitions from there to the road to Emmaus. And then the next thing we're going to see is a few days later, Jesus is going to appear to the disciples in that locked room. And Luke is so good about this traveling narrative. If we look at Luke's gospel and Acts, which Luke wrote also, even though it's split in the Bible by John, they're actually written as a book or a narrative. And Luke takes us on a journey. He takes us on a journey of discovery and gospel spread from Galilee all the way to Jerusalem, and then even beyond Jerusalem until the whole Roman Empire has been set afire or aflame by this gospel message. And we're seeing one snapshot of this much larger narrative. And it's hard for a preacher, it's hard sometimes to take this narrative of the Emmaus story, which is so familiar and so well beloved, and not put it in context, because it's even more understandable when you start to understand that these two disciples who were on the road weren't the only ones who didn't understand what was going on. They had no clue what was going on. The disciples who were locked in the room back in Jerusalem didn't have a clue. The women who went down didn't have a clue. Nobody had a clue until Jesus, God incarnate, made himself manifest and made it real in the breaking of bread to the two disciples sitting at the table, the appearance with the disciples in the room where he showed them the scars in his hands, the scar in his side when Thomas was present. All of this is Luke's way of moving us along, so we understand that this one event that happened, the crucifixion, wasn't the end, but just a stop along this narrative journey that takes us from Galilee at the very beginning all the way through Acts and the spread of the gospel and the birth of the church through Pentecost, all the way to the whole world hearing the gospel news. And that's what makes Luke so exciting for preaching and for preachers, is that we understand that each stop that we make in the lectionary narrative is just another step along the road to this journey all the way from Emmaus to Jerusalem, back to the rest of the world as it will be. And I'm excited. We drop out of Luke. We just kind of dropped into Luke for this week, and we drop right back out and get back into John for this year. But trust me, you're going to hear this Emmaus story a lot more, and now you'll understand a little bit more that Luke's understanding is that it's part of the journey that goes from Galilee all the way and ends with this gospel, the good news, being proclaimed to all the world. And if you have any questions, please email me, mhurst@redeemersarasota.org, or catch me at the church at any time, and I'd love to discuss this further with you. God bless and have a blessed day.